They like tariffing things. So you're going to tell me about that, okay? With regard to lobster.
I would like to say one thing to start it off, if you'd like.
You'll speak, yeah. Do you want to speak in front of the press?
Yeah. A lot of the main companies, lobster companies, have been forced to open up companies in Canada to send their lobster to the Far East and to Europe because we don't have an agreement with the EU. And of course, China levied a 40% tax on Maine lobster, U.S. lobster. So what they're...
So easy to handle.
Yeah.
All you have to do is put a tariff on them and you'll have it done in about 2 minutes, right? And we'll talk about that.
Yep.
So the EU
Tổng thống
charges a tariff.
Trump đang họp bàn tròn với lại
And
người
therefore
trong
the
cái
Maine lobster people
ngành đánh cá
have to
của Hoa
pay
Kỳ.
20%, is it, or 40%?
Ông trong ngành đã
So they have a
nói
tariff,
là
so it no longer makes it
nay thì
competitive.
họ phải
Canada
đưa
has
cái
an agreement with the
sản
EU.
phẩm của họ qua
There's no
Canada
tax.
thì mới có thể gửi qua bên mới bán qua bên châu Âu được.
Canadian dollar is 30%.
Tại vì không có cái
weaker than the American dollar, and therefore they're making a killing.
không có cái
handle.
thương mại với lại châu Âu. Ông Trump nói chuyện đó sẽ giải quyết được cách rất là dễ dàng.
We'll talk about that, okay? So I want to thank you all very much. We just had a big press conference at the White House. You probably saw in the Rose Garden, the beautiful Rose Garden that was about 100 degrees. It's okay. And the U.S. economy
Ông cảm ơn mọi người và nói là vừa mới có một cuộc họp báo của ông
so instead of losing 9 million, in fact, when they read it, they thought there was a typo. When the numbers came out this morning at 8:30, they read it, they thought there was a typo. Probably the greatest month we've ever had. I guess if you look at the charts, we gave the charts to the fake news media. They have them, and
chúng
probably the
ta
greatest
có
month
một
we
cái
ever
tháng
had.
rất là tuyệt vời.
In terms
Chúng
of
tôi
that, we
đã
haven't even
đưa
started
những cái
yet
hồ
because
sơ
New
giấy tờ
York is
cho
closed.
các cơ quan
It's
truyền thông
starting
cấp
to
tiêu,
open,
họ đâu có đăng gì đâu.
and California is essentially closed, but starting to open. So this is the largest monthly jobs increase in American history, and that's more than double the previous record, which was a long
Cái
time
tháng vừa rồi
ago.
là cái công việc quay trở
Economists
lại
forecast
với
that
tốc
the
độ nhanh nhất
unemployment
trong lịch
rate
sử
would
nước Mỹ.
rise to over 19%. Instead, it fell to 13%. Slight difference, right, Paul? Former governor of this great state, Paul LePage, and a friend of mine for a long time. We added 1.2 million leisure and hospitality jobs, 464,000 construction jobs,
Nhiều triệu
424,000
job công
education
việc
and
cho
health
nhà thương,
service
nhiều trăm
jobs,
ngàn job cho cái công việc
368,000
xây dựng
retail
đường sá.
jobs, and 225,000 manufacturing jobs. You remember, Paul, under the previous administration,
225.000 công việc cho các nhà.
We lost.
and they didn't call that one too well either, did they? Didn't call too many things too well. The report showed that nearly 80% of the unemployed workers were in a temporary layoff. That's a great thing. That means they all expect to go back to work.
80% là
Indicating that they
các
could quickly return.
nhân viên
73% of small businesses are now open. How about that? Up from 52% last month. And the S&P 500 just had the best 50 days in the history of the stock market. Pretty amazing. And we've just started. We're going to have the greatest year
cái
next
chỉ
year. will
số
be the
S&P
greatest year,
500 là coi như là có cái
I think, economically
sự
speaking,
quay trở lại
in
nhanh
history
nhất
for our country.
trong lịch
Only
sử.
one thing can stop it. Somebody like Sleepy Joe Biden.
Mọi thứ đều tốt, chỉ có một cái điều có thể là ngưng mấy cái chuyện đó
We
thôi.
want to open the borders. Can you imagine opening borders right now? Tijuana
Ông Sleepy
is
Joe
the
mà
most
quay trở
heavily
lại
infected place anywhere in the world as far as the plague is concerned. You know, the plague came in from China, unfortunately. Most heavily infected, or one of the most heavily infected, right along the border. But we built a wall. We have up to 200 miles now, more than 200 miles of wall. By the end of the year, we'll have 400 plus, and we'll have it finished very shortly. Fully financed, everything done, despite we were totally opposed by the other party, as you know. But they want open borders. That would be bad, but they want to raise taxes, and that would be a disaster. So I think we're going to have a great victory, and we're going to take care of law enforcement, because law enforcement, they're saying defund the police. Defund, think of it. When I saw it, I said, what are you talking about? We don't want to have any police, they say. You don't want police. First, they didn't want ICE. They do want sanctuary cities, which are a disaster.
Ông nói về đối thủ là họ không muốn có
police. They don't want to have any police.
mới đầu thì họ không muốn có những cái nhân viên gọi là hải quan, tức là lực lượng lo về vấn đề di trú, di trú. Bây giờ thì họ không muốn có cảnh sát nữa.
I'm thrilled to be with my friends from the great state of Maine, with leaders from the fishing, crabbing, and lobster industries, very important industries, and you never have been treated properly, or at least for the last long period
tôi
of
có
time.
nhiều người bạn ở trong cái ngành
We're also joined by Secretary of the
ngành hải
Interior
sản,
David Bernhardt, and a very good friend of
ngành
mine,
ngư nghiệp
former
ở
Governor Paul LePage.
ở
Paul,
bang
thank you
Maine mà
very
chưa bao
much.
giờ được họ được
Great job
cư xử
running
một
this
cách công
state,
bằng.
I can tell you that. As we work to fully reopen and revitalize our nation's economy, I'm doing everything in my power to support American workers, including those in Maine's amazing
Tôi sẽ dùng tất cả những cái
industries.
nguồn lực của tôi để mà ủng hộ cho cái công việc của người Hoa Kỳ, trong đó có kể cả những công việc của ngành ngư nghiệp của bang Maine.
We're going to take care of it even better starting today. We were all very excited to see the blockbuster 2.5 million jobs added last month, far exceeding any expectations. Not even the wildest expectations thought it was supposed to be down 9 million, and it was up 2.5 million. I would say their estimators didn't do too good a job. Under the last administration, commercial fishermen and Maine lobstermen were suddenly informed that nearly 5,000 square miles of ocean off the coast of New England would be closed to commercial fishing without justification. Is that right? 500? No, you got to be kidding. Is that right?
That's correct, sir.
So they just closed it. They said you can't fish. But let me guess, other countries do, right?
No, exactly. It's inside
They
the
do.
200 miles.
This action was deeply unfair to Maine lobstermen, threatened to cripple family businesses and cost America's fishermen millions of dollars. So they closed 5,000 square miles of ocean off your coast, right? That's amazing, Paul. How did they let that happen?
Obama just used.
That was President Obama. Thank you very much. With a pen. Was that done in the form of an executive?
In the very last few days of his administration.
You're going to fix
We're
that.
opening it, right?
You're fixing it.
So we're opening it today. We're undoing his executive order. Why would that be? It's ridiculous. What reason did he have for closing 5,000 miles? That's a lot of 5,000 square miles is a lot.
Yeah.
He didn't have a reason, in my opinion. All right, so we're opening it up. Today I'm signing a proclamation to reverse that
Có lẽ
injustice, to reverse
chắc cũng
that
không ai cần
order
giờ này thì
from
chắc
the
không ai cần
previous
là
administration, and we are
cái tiếng thông dịch đó chúng
reopening
ta
the
nghe
Northeast Canyons
thông
and the
trực
Seamounts
tiếp
Marine
nghe những cái
region
âm thanh trực
to
tiếp từ
commercial fishing. Is
cái
that
buổi
okay? Is that what you want?
họp của tổng thống Trump mà không cần phải có cái thuyết minh nữa nhé.
That's an easy one. For me, I can't even believe they can do a thing like that. That's a terrible thing. That's a terrible thing. So America's blessed with some of the richest ocean resources anywhere in the world, except when they close it up. And yet we have a $16.6 billion seafood trade deficit and import over 85% of the fish we consume. No wonder you have 5,000 miles that's closed up. Who would think that we import 85% of the fish from other countries that are your competitors. And we have the best fishing areas in the world, I would think, right? Is that among the best fishing areas anywhere in the world? How does it compare to other locations in the world?
Georges Bank is a very rich fishing area in the world.
And for lobster, the best, right?
Yeah.
The best in the Gulf of
For
Maine.
lobster.
And Atlantic scallops.
And scallops. I like scallops. Good. We'll have plenty of scallops to eat. This is why I've taken decisive action. And we're going to send our...
Ông vừa mới nói tới là của bang Maine là có nhiều ngàn cái đường biển là có thể là khai thác tôm hùm với lại lobster tôm hùm với lại scallop rất tốt, nhưng mà vẫn phải đi nhập 80 mấy % từ nước ngoài, là cái điều bất hợp lý trong chính sách.
You'll make sure that gets done quickly.
Absolutely.
Okay? This guy, when I give him something, it gets done. Between him and Peter, we have the right people. So Peter, you'll make sure that you and David,
This is a great thing for the state of Maine. These two executive orders together is going to bring back commercial fishing in a big way. Sir, that is some of the most fertile fishing grounds in the entire world that's been shut off.
And we've gone through all of the machinations, all of the work, so we can sign this now. Takes a while to get it done, but we're getting it done. Not easy, because they did it in such a way that it's not easy. I ordered the formation of a trade task force that will identify opportunities to open foreign markets to our seafood exports. We're going to talk about the European Union, who constantly take advantage of us on trade. Nobody knows that. And I'm further cracking down on illegal harvested and imported seafood. That's a big deal too, right? What does that mean, illegally harvested? Who wants to answer that question?
Ông đang hỏi tới cái vấn đề ông sẽ ngưng cái việc mà gọi là
EI fish, illegally harvested
khai
fish
thác
that
bất hợp pháp đó, thì ông đang
some
hỏi khai
countries
thác bất hợp
don't
pháp là gì?
enforce fisheries conservation rules. In our country, we do. So if a country is off their coast and they don't have to
So they
go
don't
by
have the
rules,
thing, so they
they
haven't
don't have
been-
any rules, they can catch fish.
So our conservation rules, are they overly tough or are they ridiculous? Because other countries don't have any conservation rules, right? Most other countries.
We
Are
have
our rules fair and good, or are they not?
We have a lot of rules in place that are preventing us from harvesting sustainably some of the resources out here. The fact that I'm in the groundfish industry, the resources off New England are at a
Could
record
you talk?
high.
You got to talk a little.
The resources off New England are at record levels. Never been recorded in history that they're so high. But we're underfishing.
Because you're underfishing.
We're underfishing
Is that
them
because of regulations?
because of antiquated regulations that you can never get rid of something that's in place.
So are we then looking at those regulations, Peter, or not?
Sir.
Because let's do it.
That's
I mean,
what
we
you
came up here for a different reason, but let's look at those.
One
So
of
in
the
other
pro-
words, you have more product than we've ever had before because you're not allowed to use it. You're not allowed to fish, basically.
You're not allowed to fish, and some of the problem, and when I was governor, I encountered it. If you go to Commerce, and Commerce sends you to NOAA, and there's a lot of bureaucrats in NOAA that really put on some.
Ông tổng thống đang bàn với lại những người trong ngành ngư nghiệp của tiểu bang Maine liên quan tới cái vấn đề mà
So they were so
những cái vấn đề, những cái lệnh cấm, những cái lệnh ràng buộc của tiểu bang rất là khó khăn, khiến cho không có công bằng với lại những cái nơi khác hoặc những cái nước khác là có nhiều họ có nhiều hải sản nhưng mà họ không được khai thác vì lệnh cấm đó.
So let's open
Còn
it
trong
up.
khi những cái nơi khác, những nước khác thì được khai thác thoải mái, cho nên là
Get this going, in my opinion.
họ khai thác nhiều hơn ở Maine. Lẽ ra là số tài nguyên có nhưng mà lại không được khai thác. Thường thường chúng ta biết là ngư nghiệp của Mỹ có bị rất là nhiều những cái ràng buộc liên quan tới cái vấn đề loại cá được đánh hay là loại như thế nào được đánh, vân vân. Rất nhiều những cái ràng buộc mà bây giờ ông tổng thống ông tới thì ông sẽ có những kế hoạch để mà thay đổi chuyện đó, mặc dù là không tính trước.
So I ordered the formation of a task force, and today I did something else. I put Paul LePage in charge of trying to figure that one out, which you already have figured out, I suspect. You've been living with that a long time. And you've been unable to get previous administrations to do anything about this.
That is correct. And it was particularly bad under the Obama administration. I spent 6 years.
They kept piling it on.
They just kept piling it on and delay.
And why did they do that? Just because they thought environmentally or something? Not really. Politically, they did.
It was a little bit of a political stunt because, unlike yourself and I, we're friends. Obama and I were not friends. And
Maybe
it was
he
very
also
difficult
nice
to get
other
to
countries.
talk to him.
He might have also been nice to other countries, right? Like Canada, right? He might have been nice to other countries, like Canada.
Yes, he was.
So I ordered the formation of a
Một
task force
ông
that can
trong
all
ngành
identify
ngư nghiệp có
opportunities
vừa
to
mới nói một cái
open
vấn đề
markets
rất là
to our
quan
seafood
trọng, đó là
experts. I'm further
từ
cracking
cái
down on
thời
illegal
tổng thống trước
harvested
không có ủng hộ
and
và
imported
không có
seafood. That's what your
hỗ
problem
trợ
is.
để mà họ
So we're
cắt đi
cracking
những
down
cái
on
vấn
it. I
đề
recently signed into law
thủ
$300
tục
million to help our
này nọ,
nation's
cho nên là
fisheries.
khó khăn
Maine
cho
will
cái ngành
receive
đánh cá ở Tiểu Bang Maine. Trong khi đó thì cũng nói là ông Obama lại có vẻ tốt hơn cho những nơi khác như là Canada chẳng hạn, hơn là cho Tiểu Bang Maine.
So I want every American who works out of the ocean and works in the ocean and fishes for all of the different things and the treasures to let you know that we're behind you 100%. You do an incredible job.
Ông nói rằng là ông sẽ ủng hộ 100% đối với
we want good environmental practices, very important. But we also want something that's fair to you. They've taken your livings away. I've been hearing about this for a long time in Maine and other places up here. Let it extend to other places that are also affected. Canada's given a tremendous advantage over the United States because of the practices of the previous administration and probably others. So we're not going to let that happen.
Ông nói là Canada hiện nay có lợi thế hơn rất nhiều so với lại Maine cũng như nhiều cái bang khác ở Mỹ. Vì cái chính sách.
And we do.
Cho nên là tôi sẽ không để chuyện đó tiếp tục xảy ra.
If that goes on, then we're going to do something that's going to make that look like small time.
And last year we were sending, or 2 years ago, we were sending a lot of product to China, and then China put a tariff on us for 40% because of some of the trade issues between our two countries.
And what happened to the tariff? Is it on now?
Oh, it's not gone down. I haven't checked lately, but you're still paying the tariffs, right? The lobster's still going to Canada, and from Canada they go over free. But it's just an added expense to the main.
Ông nói rằng là
who also has a 30%
lobster là của từ Tiểu bang Maine mà qua Trung Quốc thì tới 40% thuế, trong khi là đưa qua Canada thì Canada bán qua Trung Quốc không có đồng thuế nào hết.
And the funniest part of this whole issue is the Canadian lobster we're talking of and the Maine lobster come out of the same water.
Mà cái vấn đề rất là khôi hài là tôm hùm của Canada và tôm hùm của Tiểu bang Maine cùng loại.
So you're set up with a 20% tax that they don't have, so they have a very good thing. That's European Union, right?
Mà Canada thì nhập qua thì không có đồng nào cả thuế, trong khi Mỹ nhập qua là 40% thuế.
And I'll tell you,
so easy to solve. I'm going to call them, David. You're going to come in, write a letter, and if they don't change, we're going to put a tariff on their cars until they change, and they'll change right away. Okay? It's unbelievable how badly, people hear
ông
about
Trump nói là cái vấn đề đối với lại châu Âu quá dễ. Tôi sẽ gọi cho họ và ông sẽ cùng lên nói chuyện với tôi. Nếu mà họ không thay đổi, tôi chỉ cần đặt thuế thêm cho cái vấn đề xe cộ của họ là sẽ giải quyết xong thôi. Quá dễ dàng để giải quyết.
Absolutely.
We're going to charge an equivalent plus tariff to them if they don't drop their tariff on your lobster and seafood, okay?
Đây là tôi sẽ gọi là áp dụng thuế lên trên cái xe của họ ngang ngửa với lại cái tôm hùm của các vị nếu mà họ không có chịu hạ xuống.
European Union charges us a tariff. They don't charge Canada a tariff. This is for the press.
Đó là châu Âu thì tính thuế lên chúng ta nhưng mà lại không tính thuế lên Canada. Trong khi là hai cái loại tôm hùm đều cùng một loại nước mà ra. Nếu mà châu Âu mà không ngưng thuế ngay lập tức cái loại thuế lên trên tôm hùm chúng ta, tôi sẽ áp dụng lên cái thuế lên xe hơi của họ. Nên nhớ là xe hơi rất là nhiều xe hơi từ châu Âu nhập qua Mỹ.
Watch how fast that tariff comes off. All right, watch how fast. It should be plus. Okay, I'm going to put Peter Navarro in charge of it. That's perfect for him.
Tôi sẽ để cho ông Peter Navarro
you're in charge of it.
làm lo chuyện này.
This country has been treated so badly on trade for so many years. We have such bad agreements. We're breaking so
đất nước của chúng ta đã bị gọi là đối xử rất là bất công trong vấn đề thuế má trong nhiều năm qua.
Canada, in some respects, Canada has been our worst enemy in the produce industry. We cannot send
Canada's been very tough. Canada charged in Wisconsin before I got up and changed it 287% tariffs on dairy products.
Yeah.
So think of it. And they kept it at 287. They didn't want to make it 300 because they thought somebody might find out. And until I became president, nobody knew. I ended it. But they were charging Wisconsin, and our farmers, 287% tariffs to send dairy products to Canada. So therefore you didn't send, you couldn't compete.
You couldn't compete.
And our people
Ông
didn't
nói
charge
rằng là
them
Canada
anything.
rất là xấu ở cái chỗ là
Canada's
đánh
been
thuế rất là
very
nặng nề.
tough.
Ví dụ như là đánh thuế
Very
về
tough.
cái sản phẩm về sữa đó.
You know why? Because
Ở
they got away
Wisconsin
with
họ
it.
đánh
That's
thuế
all. Because people
280%,
sitting here
cho nên là
didn't know
không
what the hell they
có
were doing.
gửi qua được cho tới khi tôi lên
Okay.
nhậm chức và tôi thay
But
đổi
the
chuyện
deal
đó.
has worked out. You know, the new deal is a good deal. It's got rid of all that stuff. But we didn't talk about lobster. But Peter Navarro is going to be the lobster king now, okay? All right, Peter?
Yes,
Now
sir.
look, you
Chúng
got
tôi
it.
như
Let's
đã
see what
chưa
you can
biết
do.
Dear to
nói
my
chuyện,
heart.
chưa biết
Let's
để
see
mà nói
what
chuyện
you
với họ
can
về
do.
lobster.
This
Bây giờ
state
thì sẽ nói
right
chuyện
here,
với họ
Maine, is
về
dear
vấn
to
đề
my
tôm
heart.
hùm.
I spent a lot of
There's
time
another
here over the
vegetable
years.
that most people don't speak of, and we can't bring to Canada. And we're one of them. We have a company in Maine that is one of the major growers of broccoli in the country.
Broccoli. And
In the summer, they're in Maine. In the winter, they're in Florida. But what has happened in the last few years is the Canadians bring their broccoli into market. They have a 30% advantage on the exchange rate, and so we can't sell our broccoli, and we can't send it to Canada.
that's our big thing with
That's
the
the
dollar.
over-
Ông này đang nói
You
tới
and
một
I
thứ
talked
sản
about
phẩm khác
the
đó là
dollar that everyone
broccoli,
Do that one
cái
too,
loại
sir. Let me make me the dollar
Hand of
king.
broccoli.
giống như là bông cải.
What's that?
Is
Sun.
it broccoli primarily that and the lobster, seafood, etc.?
There are a couple others. There's broccoli, blueberries. Blueberries, Maine used to grow 90% of the
Broccoli
wild
cũng như
blueberries
là
in
cái
the,
loại
in the
trái cây
world.
So
đó
where's it
là
done
blueberry.
Canada, New Brunswick, and Quebec have got 300,000
Nói chung đây là cái dịp
acres
để mà các
on, and so now Maine's
vị lãnh
blueberries
đạo
are
của
selling
này
below growing
mang
cost.
When
trong
you talked about the Obama administration,
mang
about
mang
this,
lên
they
cái
did
sự
nothing.
chú ý
They
của
did
ông Trump để
nothing.
giải quyết.
I spent a lot of time in
Let's get
Commerce.
on this.
The three things plus the seafood. This man he's a believer. He knows exactly what to do. I don't have to tell him a thing. And you guys will work on the other stuff together, okay? Any questions, by the way?
Một lần nữa đây là đang là một cái kiểu như là hội
Shouldn't be
họp
any
bàn
questions
tròn.
after that.
Ông gặp
You got
gỡ
more
là
than you
những
would
người
have
lãnh
ever
đạo
known.
trong
I will
ngành
just
nông
make
nghiệp,
one more
nghiệp
comment.
ở bang Maine.
I will make one more comment, and we need your help on. As the country is reopening, of course, right now Maine is still tied up pretty tight because we have a governor that's not reopening very fast. But as
Yeah,
we reopen,
why isn't your governor opening up your state?
I don't know. We
You
don't know.
All
We-
these states are being opened. They're making a lot of money. That's why we had the good numbers today. You have a governor that doesn't know what she's doing. And she's like a dictator.
Yes,
you
she
know?
is.
Why isn't she opening up your state?
Well, one thing that she's doing is the $600 a week that the people on unemployment
Right.
are getting. She is allowing them to continue to collect when they're called back to work. And so people aren't coming back to work.
Ông
And everybody in this room will
ông này đang tố cái người thống đốc của tiểu bang Maine
of
So
people.
she's taking advantage of the
không chịu
system.
mở cửa tiểu bang Maine
letting
mà
them
thậm
come
chí
back
lại còn
anyway
cho tiền
because
600
we shut down.
đồng cho
That's
mỗi
right,
người
but the
khi mà
few
đi
that
thất nghiệp.
would.
Rồi
I
lại
know
lại
three
tiếp tục để
cases
cho họ
last week.
được lãnh cái tiền đó khi mà họ quay trở lại làm việc vẫn được lãnh cái tiền đó.
I reported them that I have work for them, but they're still getting the $600.
What would you say about that, Peter?
Và cái ông này nói rằng là
This whole problem in the bill where we
dù là
pay
ông báo ra
people
được
to stay
ông
home,
thông báo đi nữa mà mấy người đó vẫn được nhận được
You know, it
600
works
khi mà
in
quay trở lại làm
sentences.
công việc. Cái chuyện đó hết sức là không có công bằng.
doing tremendous damage to our economy because it's keeping people home, and the
The
longer people
Democrats
stay home.
wanted this. Feather bedding, okay? But the Democrats wanted it. We said it wouldn't work. And we
Thống đốc tiểu bang
And it
của Maine
works.
là một
But honestly,
tiểu
it's
tử
It
good.
works in
thuộc đảng
Republican
Dân chủ
states.
cho nên là
It does work in Republican states. But the Democrats wanted it. And we negotiated, but it's unnecessary. And it makes it overly complex. But a place like this, you know, we're straightening it out. Any further legislation, we're straightening it out. And we just did PPP today, so
The legislation is fine if everybody follows the rules.
Yeah.
But if a governor
you
decides
see,
to,
she's not supposed to be doing that.
that's correct.
So when she doesn't do that, it's fine.
That is
But the
correct.
governor is playing cute.
If you call someone to work and they refuse to go to work, you tell the state and the state will take their unemployment away.
Exactly. So she's not supposed to be doing that.
That's correct.
Let's call her on that, please.
Yeah,
Call her
she went
legally. Not
People
allowed.
in Maine
Em nói
want
tới
to
cái vấn
work.
đề là
Yes,
Do
they
not
đáng lý
want
ra
to
là
They want
những người mà được nghỉ nhà lãnh tiền đó, khi mà có
I
công
think
việc
there's
đưa lại
another
cho họ
move
làm
in
tiếp
July.
thì
There's
họ
gonna
phải
be
quay lại
another
làm.
move in July.
Thì
She
đã,
started opening
nếu
up
mà
some of
không
the
quay lại làm thì
restaurants
phải bị
that
cắt cái tiền đó đi
you
chứ.
can have, six
Very
social
small.
distancing and 50%.
And you don't have a big problem up here. So why is she doing this?
Well, what she's afraid of, or what she's claiming, is that in the summer, Maine only has 1.3 million people, but we have 40 plus million visitors a year, 30 plus million in 3 months. And she's afraid that if she doesn't quarantine the entire state, that these folks are going to bring
Yeah, the
the
problem
virus.
is though, those 3 months are your Christmas, right?
Yeah, you got it. It's our
Tiffany
season.
likes December. You like these 3 months. So she's going to get rid of all of your wealth, and you're
Exactly.
never going to recover that.
That is correct. And so what I've advised her to do,
Not good.
what I've tried her to do is everybody, you can only get into Maine 2 ways, well, 3 ways. The Canadian border, the 95, or Route 2.
Right.
So if you put somebody at Route 2, everybody's got a foreign plate, an out-of-state plate. You
check
get their name, telephone number, where they're going to be. Problem solved. If you
It's not
have
a
an
big
uptick,
problem.
you go right there.
So you're giving away your tourist season this year because it's
That's correct.
starting, right? So
That
you're
is
giving
correct.
away your tourist system.
Yes.
I mean, she must know this, right?
Họ đang nói
Think
tới
she's
cái việc
a
mà
great
How does she do a thing like this? She's
thống
gonna
đốc tiểu
destroy the
bang
state. All right,
Maine
look,
là
I'm not a
cấm
fan.
vận, không có cho
I'm
mở
not a
cửa.
fan.
Nó ảnh
We're
hưởng
gonna
tới rất
solve
nhiều.
your fishing problem. We're going to solve something that nobody thought was solvable. We'll solve it very easily.
Mặc dù đây là
We're
một tiểu
gonna
bang rất
handle that
nhỏ.
situation.
Right on.
That's an incredible. Would you like to say something, folks? Go ahead.
Yes, I would. Thank you, Mr. President. It's an honor to
Thank you. It's my honor.
it's an honor to be here to discuss with you the importance of commercial fishing to our country. I am the executive director of Associated Fisheries of Maine, and I have more than 30 years' experience in regional, national, and international fisheries management. And in all of that time, I have never known a president to express a concern about the well-being of our fishing and seafood industries. So thank you very much for your interest, for your executive order promoting American seafood, for this announcement that you've made today, which will allow our fishermen to go back to work. The Antiquities Act
And we're
process.
doing that immediately. Are we doing that as of immediately?
You're opening up 5,000 square miles
As of-
with the stroke of a pen.
As of when?
The minute you sign it,
I better get
you will
going
begin
with this.
planning, and
I
you're
get my
taking
fishing
down,
pole.
you're taking down a no fishing sign and opening up.
I love that.
The process by which this monument was established is a non-transparent process that does not allow for stakeholder input, does not produce any kind of economic analysis of the negative impacts, and prevents all of us from enjoying the benefits of our healthy marine resources. So again, we appreciate that you've recognized that and are taking action to correct that.
And your senators, where were your senators for all these years? What happened?
They abdicated their responsibility. They went home early this year because it's an election year and gave all their power to our governor.
So in addition to the opposition from the fishing industry, the Secretary of Commerce has also heard about opposition from the regional fishery, all 8 regional fishery management councils, to establishing these monuments outside of the regular management process. So there has been a great deal of opposition to that, and now you're correcting
What would you
that.
do about that?
Well,
The monuments, what would you do?
the management of fisheries within our exclusive economic zone is rightfully managed under the Magnuson-Stevens Fisheries Conservation and Management Act. So we have a process to do that. We don't need the Antiquities Act to be establishing monuments that restrict fishing.
So what do you need?
You're bringing that process back.
Well,
bringing
this
that
order
back.
will take care of our
Okay, so
immediate
you're going to
need.
be okay,
You're gonna,
and this is going to do
you're
most
gonna
of it?
take that back.
That's a big thing, right?
Yes.
You're
Yes.
so lucky I'm president. You are so lucky. I don't even know you, and you're so lucky.
Well, we're also looking to a pending action by the New England Fishery Management Council and the National Marine Fisheries Service, which will likely be voted on sometime in the fall, which would establish a requirement for our fishing boats to carry 100% of observers or at-sea monitors on all of our trips at our own expense. And this could be as much as $40,000 a year for some of our vessels. This is simply an expense that we cannot afford at this time, especially on the heels where we will be trying to recover from this pandemic, which has had a huge impact on the commercial fishing industry in New England. We certainly cannot afford an additional expense that is totally discretionary. The law does not.
What's happening with that, David?
That's in process.
Huh?
That's in
Get it
process.
done.
It's
That's
We'll
part
get
of
it done.
your,
You're not going to have to.
Again, I just put it on
sorry,
your
that-
radar, Mr. President, so
So
that
let
we
me
can
ask you a
deal with it in
question.
the future.
So European Union charges you a 20% tariff, and is China charging a 40% tariff, or is that not? What's China charging? 40.
I'm not familiar with that.
Or not? You know, Paul?
What? China right now is charging a tariff on Maine lobster going to China.
How
And
much?
Our sales to China have gone from like 600,000 pounds to less than 100,000 pounds.
So you went from 600,000 pounds, that's the way you go, to 100,000 pounds. So you're way down.
And the only
Is
way
that because of the tariff?
Yes.
Okay.
What they do.
So Peter,
what- yeah,
so
what-
corresponding tariff to China for pick a product, a corresponding plus if they don't drop the tariff on Maine lobster going into China. Okay?
Yes, sir.
It's very simple, and I don't mind.
Yeah, the distribution companies have had to set up companies in Canada. They ship their.
No, I know, that's what they do. They go through different companies. It's called transshipping,
Yeah.
to be exact. They transship. Okay, ready?
Yes, sir.
China, EU. All you do is say, that's okay, keep charging us, and we're going to charge you a corresponding on something that they sell that's very precious to them. Put a corresponding. It should be for the same amount plus.
Yes, sir.
We'll take care of it. Go ahead.
Yeah, Mr. President, we operate a few boats here in Maine, but we also operate some scallop boats and some factory processors out in Alaska. And there is a tariff on the flatfish that's shipped into China that stays there. So if we want to ship it to them and develop a market in China, they do enforce a 25% tariff on it. What we have available to us is if they do process some of the fish, it's shipped back to the United States, and there is no tariff on that coming in at this present time.
So what you're saying is we don't charge them a tariff, but they charge us a tariff.
That's exactly right.
How stupid is that?
We're working on it.
How stupid is that, free traders? I tell you, the free traders out there that are always talking about this, oh, we're free traders. How stupid is that? So they charge us, and then we don't charge them.
Yeah, you'll be
And
pleased
they
to...
get paid for doing the work on top of everything.
You'll be pleased to know that we just had
We'll take
a
it.
Zoom meeting with Senator Sullivan last night. He's working on it. He's going to be in touch with a few people. He wanted to say hello to you.
Sullivan's a good man.
Yeah, yeah.
Sullivan's a good man. He'll try, but
Yeah.
nobody can do this like I can.
It's like everybody, though. We're all trying to do it. but
It's simple.
Yeah,
It'll be done.
thank you.
It's very simple. He's a good guy, Dan Sullivan. Paul, you've said enough. David, you have anything to say real fast?
Well, I would like to thank you for taking the time to come listen to the fishing community. Since the moment you took office, you've been clear and consistent in your efforts to bring common sense back to the executive branch. You've done more than any president in our lifetime to bring common sense to government. And when you think about it, 5,000 square miles is an area that's larger than the state of Connecticut, the state of Delaware, or Rhode Island. And the prior administration essentially put a no fishing sign up to these individuals with the stroke of a pen. And you're addressing it. And your effort to ensure the voices of the people are heard is deeply appreciated across the country. The folks here, they go out, they brave the nation's waters, they bring an incredible natural resource benefit to the world, and they have the challenging task of facing whatever Mother Nature puts in front of them. They should not be in a situation where they're also having to fight their own government. And they needed common sense bureaucracy, and you're bringing it. And in doing so, we are not changing the boundaries of the monument, and we will remain protecting those objects that need and are appropriately protected by doing this. So thank you, sir.
Thank you very much. And these two people will get it done. By luck, I happen to have the two right people with me. All right? Please.
Good afternoon, Mr. President. My name is Christian Porter. I'm a commercial fisherman. I've been fishing for over 30 years. I fished for about everything over those years.
And you love doing that. You wouldn't switch for anything, even though they don't let you fish anymore.
No, well, I fish for different things. I fish for scallops now, and I fish for the lobster.
But you love it, right?
I love it. It's a way of life, Mr. President.
No, they love it. People love it. You wouldn't switch to be president, right?
Right.
You're making a good decision.
So, and I'm president of the Maine Lobstermen's Association, and we support, the Maine Lobster Fleet supports 10,000 jobs on the water and another 5,500 shoreside jobs. So that's why I'm passionate about working with regulations.
Do people come in? It must be other countries. They must send their ships into this 5,000 big mile stretch. Right?
No, they can't. They can't come in through the
really?
easy.
So we get them out through what? The Coast Guard, the Navy.
Coast Guard.
We get them out.
Yep.
So we police it at least, right?
Yeah.
Good.
Right.
So go ahead.
So keeping our nation's fishery strong is a passion of mine. That's why it's great to have this opportunity to talk to you about the process of the Northeast Canyons of Seamount. Rather than work with the constituents who actually fish there and were most knowledgeable about the issue, like this guy right here, this monument was formed in back rooms with special interests. This created four
during
policy.
the other administration, you mean? Which
Yes.
administration? Obama?
The Obama administration did this.
Well, he's done Maine a tremendous disservice, I can tell you. Just from a common sense standpoint, how could you let a thing like this happen?
This created poor policy. It hurt the fishermen. And we really worry about the precedent it sets, that you can close large areas of ocean and put all the rest of us who fish for different things in smaller and smaller boxes. So, and that hurts everybody.
So by opening up this 5,000 miles, this is a treasure chest.
It spreads boats out, yes. And
did you ever think this was going to happen in your lifetime?
I did not. But the biggest thing is now people think when they're going to close this, they've got to go through the process. Fishermen need to have the input into this.
Right.
And we didn't. And so, and it's not the only thing. There's other things. I just want to, as a lobsterman, bring up something that I would be run out of town if I didn't bring up to you. It's kind of the same situation. Our fishery is in great shape through years and years of good management. But despite our tremendous success, we find our industry being risk of being shut down because of the endangered right whale.
The endangered white whale.
Right whale. And we've been in.
And why is that? In other words, because you have to be so careful. What is it?
The entanglements and what
is that in the same area that we're talking about?
No, it's a different area. It's along the coast of Maine. So our association, our executive director, has had great conversations with your staff. One of them's here today. Alex Willett is here. He's up to speed on this. You had
go really quick because we have to leave.
Yeah,
we had. Wait.
No, but
how is
and
this?
Your friend right here sent you a letter, and he can bring you up to speed on this. Governor, you've sent a letter. How is the
whale? Paul, you know this.
Yes.
How is the whale hurting what they're doing?
The right whale is not hurting them. In fact, in the last 2 decades, there's not been an entanglement or a death in Maine waters. Now, they found some dead whales in Maine waters, but they came down from where the problem area is, and as we've talked about earlier, the St. Lawrence Seaway. At the mouth of the St. Lawrence Seaway is where all the deaths and entanglements are.
So how do we solve this problem?
We solve this problem by going to NOAA and telling them to get reasonable about their regulations.
Going to where?
NOAA. They are the problem, and I've worked 2 years. I've worked 6 years.
You know what reasonable means, then, right?
Yeah, that's correct.
Okay, so get them done.
That is correct.
Get them done. All right, you'll work that, David.
I'll talk to
Okay.
We just want our voices heard in the process.
We'll be able to. I assume there's a good solution to that, right?
Yes, there is.
Okay, work on it. And we want to protect the whale. I want to protect the whale too.
As we do too.
As long as we can protect the whale, I'm going to do it. All right, so I'm going to leave it to you.
We're in. And I will say, he said one thing that is so true about the fishermen in Maine. Maine has the only sustainable lobster fishery and certified in the world. These people will go bend over backwards to save the laying, those that are layers and the youth. I mean, they just bend over backwards. It's not robbing the bottom. And the one thing about a Maine
You've been treated very badly. You know that, right?
Exactly.
You better remember your president.
The one thing about a Maine
you've been treated very badly. I know what they've done to you. They've regulated you out of business. And yet you treated the area like it was your home. I know that. Go ahead.
The one thing that Washington has never understood, the Maine lobsterman is a family-owned business. It's hand-me-down from father to son for generations. If father kills all the lobster, son is going to starve. And that's what the lobster industry is in Maine. It's the only one in the world. And Washington bureaucrats are telling us we don't know how to fish.
We got it, all right?
Thank
You'll
you,
work
sir.
with Paul on that.
Thank you, sir.
Go ahead, please.
Thank you, Mr. President. John Williams, owner of the Atlantic Red Crab Company. Going to change species a little bit. I'm in the crab business, not the lobster business. I've been fishing in this area, the 5,000 square miles personally since 1995, and there were people there before I was in there. And the interesting thing is going on Maggie Raymond's point, is the lack of transparency in the process of setting these 5,000 miles apart. The industry was never given the opportunity to get involved. It was like
not like now.
Exactly, no, and we appreciate it. And then on one talking point, and your 2.5.
So will you stop from fishing in the 5,000 miles then, basically?
In that 5,000 miles.
And that's prime area, right?
Well, this is the ironic part of the whole thing. They said that they had to shut that 5,000 miles down for an emergency presidential action, and I was very vocal about it, and they grandfathered me for 7 more years in that 5,000 mile area. So if there was
when is the 7 years up?
We're about halfway through it.
Oh, you're lucky you just made it, huh?
We've had our fingers crossed since you got elected.
So is that very fertile in terms of crabs?
Yes, it's very fertile.
Because nobody's taking them, right?
It's we harvest from Virginia all the way to Canada.
So they gave you a grandfather of 7 years, and your 7 years is up.
Then
how many people were grandfathered?
It was my fishery and the offshore lobster fishery.
You must be a rich guy, right?
I have a good banker.
Do you have the problem with the European Union too?
I don't do very much export to Europe. Most of it's domestic.
Well, you can't with the tariff. You can't.
Exactly.
So you don't bother.
And the other thing is I want to bring up that hasn't been brought up is we have a public process that's been in place for years and years and years to protect our resources and the ocean floor. And when you gasped at 5,000 miles at how big of an area that is, since 95, I think there's been, you'd have to correct me, but it's roughly 60,000 miles have been protected already, but they were protected in arenas like this that included scientists, fishermen, and environmentalists.
And is that wrong?
That's right.
So you like it?
I think when you get a group of scientists and
okay, so there you think we did the right thing?
I think that
meaning people did the right thing.
I think that it's the public process as cumbersome as it can be, and sometimes I walked out of meetings not happy with the results, but it works.
But at least it went through a process.
It allows.
And this did not go through a process.
Zero. We had zero words.
This didn't go through a process. This was done for politics.
Total politics. Just one last comment on it is of course where the industry was left to remain completely silent and not go public, the millions of literature and propaganda and websites and everything that were out there saying we need to save this 5,000 miles because this bottom is pristine and we can't allow these fishermen in there because it's pristine. Well, we've been in there for 40 years. And so if the environmental groups can deem the place pristine, and we've been operating in that area for 40 years and they can't find any evidence where we've done any damage, I would say we've been pretty good stewards of that 5,000 miles.
It's great stuff down there, right?
Oh, it's great stuff.
Great stuff. Take care of it. All right? That's the one thing I'm asking you. Take care of it. Okay? Please, go ahead.
Yeah, I just wanted to, my name's James Odlin. I've been involved in this fisheries for 50 years off New England, both as a captain and as a vessel fleet owner. And I served on the council for 9 years, helping make some of these regulations. I worked on the Habitat Committee issues, where we worked for many years, and then we were ready to roll, and all of a sudden, we get this order that said, your work doesn't matter, we're gonna close 5,000 whole square miles. We were looking at discrete,
So this is a really
special
big,
areas.
This is a really big deal for you people, isn't it?
We worked long and
This is
hard
the
on that
whole
issue.
deal.
Yeah.
Wow.
And I just got one other thing, Mr. President. You know, I want to reiterate that the stocks of fish off New England, groundfish, are at historic highs
Is that because you were stopped
because
from
of
fishing?
proper fish management. The issue is we've got millions of pounds of fish out there that are not getting caught annually, which would equate into hundreds and hundreds of jobs.
So will I
We
be
need-
allowed to go fishing in that 5,000 mile piece?
Sure
Would
you
you
could.
mind if I took a little boat and went fishing out there?
So we've got some regulations that are preventing us from harvesting these healthy, sustainable fish stocks. And we need help getting those
Is that
regulations.
not being taken care of in what we're doing?
Well, I just heard this now that they've asked the National Marine Fisheries Service and Commerce to look at some of those regulations.
Do you know about it?
Yeah, it's a commerce issue. I'm happy
Right.
to work
You
with
gotta
them on it.
just take it over.
But I have some worries that they will just tweak around the edges and not really do.
All right. David will take
I
it
have
over.
some inside information that that's what's going to
Okay,
happen.
we got it.
If I may, sir, the executive order that you signed several weeks ago has very clear, direct instructions to take care of those regulations. So this president is already on this case. There is a process underway, and that gentleman across the way will ensure that the commercial fishermen of this state will be able to fish the waters here without undue regulation. Full
So we're
stop.
cutting regulations from highways and roadways to fish. And
That's
that's what Peter's talking about. Go ahead,
Yes,
Pete,
sir.
do you have anything to say?
This is the jobs president. This trip today goes and creates jobs from Brunswick and Bath to Bangor and Guilford, all the way up and down from Bar Harbor down to Kennebunkport. And this president is the working class president, and this state is a hard scrabble state. It's a working class state, and people in this state should not have to face a federal government that takes away your livelihood. These two executive orders combined are the greatest news for commercial fishermen in the last 50 years. And this first order will clear off the decks of undue regulation. The second order, as soon as he signs that and gives away the pens to all you folks here, will set free the fishermen of this state.
Well, they
It's a
took
great
your
day.
lives away. They took your livelihood away from you, so that's good. So thank you, Peter.
Yes,
Well
sir.
said. Well said. Please, go ahead.
Thank you, Mr. President. First, I just wanted to thank you for coming to the state of Maine to talk to our commercial fishing industry. As was pointed out already, it is a first, and we truly appreciate it. And we also appreciate the action you're taking today. I don't think there's a single industry person around this table that disagrees on the need for it and why it is so important, so thank you very much.
Thank you.
My name is Mary Beth Tooley. I am the Government Affairs Manager for the O'Hara Corporation out of Rockland, Maine. I brought the boss with me today. He's on the other side of the table, Frank O'Hara Jr., president of a family-held company, as I said, in Rockland, Maine. And I know that he spoke already. He provides an awesome history of a family-held company that started in 1907 in T Wharf in Boston, Massachusetts, has been present here in the state of Maine since 1944, and is definitely multi-generational. He has sons coming up and grandchildren being born, and the goal of the company is
Good.
to maintain
Well, now they
sustainable
have a place,
fish.
right?
So
Now
I
they
don't know,
have a
Frank, if
place.
you want to add anything to that before I go on?
What's that?
Do you want to add anything on that before I go on?
No, you got it. You know, we've been around for a while. We've gotten through wars, depressions. We've gotten through overfishing from the
But
foreign
this was the worst thing that you've been through, I'll bet, right? What happened to you when they took this away?
It didn't affect us as much as it would have affected John, but it will affect us because once they take one mountain or one canyon, they'll take another one and another one. They'll go over to the west coast.
Are you involved in that area, the 5,000 miles?
We used to be, but we're not. We do scalloping, which is more to the south of that. So our scallop boats, which is replicated by that model over there, we do some scallops, but mostly it's crab and lobsters out that way. We're flatfish.
Is that a new boat? Like
It is. It was
so
a new
that's
boat built
occurred-
down in
So
Duckworth.
they look pretty old, right? There's a lot of design talent there, huh?
Yeah. They got the new bulbous bow and a quart nozzle. It's lower carbon footprint. We're building another boat starting next year.
How much, brand new, how much does that boat cost?
Just under $4 million.
How much?
Just under $4 million.
It's the real deal, right?
Yeah.
Very good. Okay, good. Well, you're in good shape. Thank you very much.
So if I could, excuse me, I'm sorry, I just had.
Go ahead, please.
But I just wanted to say very briefly, because I don't need to be repetitive, I am a former member of the New England Fishery Management Council and served for 9 years on that council. And so you have here around the table current members of the council, past members of the council. Most of our industry people have all served as advisory panel members to council's committees, and we hope one former council member as well. And as the public process, I think people have outlined why we think it's so important, and we certainly do endorse that. And I will leave it at that. Thank you again.
Thank you very much. Good job. Please.
Hi, I'm Terry Alexander. I own Jordan Lynn Incorporated. It's a commercial fishing company. And I based all my comments on trying to convince you to sign that executive order, so they're pretty moot right now. But I would just like to point out some of the highlights on it, and then maybe touch on some ideas.
We'll go quick.
Okay. Thank you, Mr. President, for supporting our nation's fisheries and fishing communities. These monuments, even though they're south of New England, they push people, they displace people, and they're affecting the entire fleet all the way to shore. So it's a good thing to open up area.
So that gets solved.
Right. Yeah. So
Excuse me. Are there media from Maine here? Are you liking what we're doing? Huh? You can say yes. You do. Anybody else from Maine? From the area? They all come up from Washington, unfortunately. Okay, go ahead.
Yeah, so that's already done. So I'm gonna touch on a couple ideas, how the Canadians, how it's not fair for the Canadians.
Chúng ta vẫn đang tiếp tục nghe ông Trump
Canadians
Why,
offshore.
tell me about
All
that.
right, so we try to catch haddock.
thương nghiệp của
Different size,
Maine
same fish.
và họ đang
We
báo cáo
negotiate with the
rất nhiều
Canadians every year.
And how do you find negotiating with
nghe tôi cũng hết sức là
They're pretty good. I'm on the TMGC. I'm on the New England Fisheries Management Council.
những cái thủ tục
In my 8th year
hành
there.
chính mà họ phải đang
They've been good.
làm việc
And
khiến cho cái ngành
we negotiate every year, and they catch
xấu.
their entire quota almost every year. We catch 10% of our quota every year.
What's the difference in the size of the quota?
Well, we're about even on haddock, but it's because of our regulations over here. Our mesh size is the wrong size for catching haddock over here. That needs to be fixed, and we can get that stuff done through the council. But
Go ahead.
we need that stuff done through the
Can you
council.
sell that on eBay tonight?
I won't sell it.
Go ahead. Go ahead.
But we can fix that through the council.
Ông vừa ngồi nghe báo cáo mà ông vừa ngồi tranh thủ ký tên vào mấy cái tờ giấy để tặng cho mọi người ở đây.
And you're working
Rồi
on
mới
it.
ký thảy qua cho ông kia đó, ông có thể bán trên
So
eBay
now
đó
we're
nha.
gonna be doing what we're doing. I mean, you people basically they took
Họ
away
ký là
your
ông truyền
livelihood.
lại cho mọi người đó.
Ridiculous. Took away
Giống như
your
là
life.
một
Wait a
thứ kỷ
minute,
niệm
one second. I'm going to sign this.
thăm cái ngành ngư nghiệp ở tiểu bang Maine gặp mấy người lãnh đạo.
Whoever wants this, here.
Ông ký ông tặng cho người ta.
So come on around real quick, and we're going to sign this up. Everybody get and take one of these. You could hand that in. Okay. Thank you very much. Maybe give a little room, I guess.
Nãy giờ tôi nghe rất là nhiều những cái vấn đề mà lấy sức thủ tục rườm rà đó,
A big part of it's
căng đó.
industry, and we're giving you back your fishing rights to 5,000 miles or square miles. That's a lot, boy. That's a big chunk. That's a big chunk of water. So do very well. Say hello to the people of Maine.
5.000 dặm Anh vuông.
I appreciate it.
Mặt biển không được đánh
I
cá.
appreciate it much more than I do, because you're getting a lot more than I am. Okay. So good luck, everybody.
Ông ký tên
And they're going to work on those other things with Peter and David. Okay.
Ông tặng luôn cây viết cho bà ấy. Bà ấy mừng có bỏ túi luôn. Đó, ông ký cái này là ông ký cái văn bản là như là xóa tất cả những cái loại mà khó khăn. Ông tặng mỗi người một cây viết.
Good luck, everybody.
Ông tặng cái viết và tặng một số chữ ký cho mọi người, nhanh gọn đi ra. Để tôi chắc có lẽ sẽ tóm lược lại một chút xíu những cái nội dung vừa rồi nói đó. Thì đại khái là nhiều người trong ngành ngư nghiệp gặp gỡ ông và báo cáo về cái vấn đề gọi là khó khăn của ngành này. Thì theo họ cho biết đó là hiện nay thì 5.000 dặm vuông Anh, là nó còn to hơn là 5.000 cây số vuông đó. Đây là một dặm là tới 1.8 cây số hay sao. Thì bị không được cho phép đánh cá với cái lý do là nhiều lý do thủ tục hành chính, nhưng mà trong đó có cái lý do rất là vớ vẩn, đó là cái lý do sợ đánh cá như vậy thì ảnh hưởng tới loài cá voi trắng, một cái lý do hết sức là không có chính đáng để mà hại cái ngành ngư nghiệp ở tiểu bang Maine. Đó là một cái nơi với 5.000 dặm vuông, đó là rất nhiều tài nguyên hải sản ở dưới mà họ không được đụng tới. Họ nói rằng là họ là cái nghề này là cha truyền con nối, họ hiểu hơn ai hết là phải giữ được cái phải lo lắng cho cái ngư trường ngư nghiệp của họ. Thì họ là cái người mà biết lo lắng hơn hết, chứ không phải là những cái người ở thủ đô Washington phải làm cái chuyện đó đối với họ. Thì những cái quy định đó đã coi như là làm cho cái rất khó khăn cho cái ngành ngư nghiệp của tiểu bang Maine. Trong đó có người đã phát biểu rằng là trong đời họ đây là lần đầu tiên có một ông tổng thống mà lại lo trực tiếp, để ý trực tiếp tới cái ngành ngư nghiệp, cái ngành khai thác tôm hùm của tiểu bang Maine như vậy. Và cái quyết định cách đây mấy tuần của ông Trump đã giúp cho họ có thể làm việc trở lại, và khi mà khai thác như vậy thì có rất là nhiều công việc đã được thực hiện lại. Và cái hồi nãy chúng ta thấy là ông vừa mới ký cái văn bản đó là ký là theo thủ tục thôi, chứ còn ông đã quyết định đó cách đó mấy tuần rồi. Ngoài cái chuyện mà gọi là bị nhiều cái quy định bó buộc không cho khai thác cái ngư trường có sẵn của họ 5.000 dặm vuông như vậy đó, thì người ngư dân của tiểu bang Maine hồi nãy họ cũng có nói tới rất nhiều tới cái vấn đề thuế. Đối với lại thuế thì hiện nay là bên châu Âu đó thì đánh thuế họ tới 20 mấy %, còn bên Trung Quốc thì đánh thuế họ 40 mấy %. Canada cũng đánh thuế họ rất cao. Trong khi những cái đường mà nhập ngược lại đó, dĩ nhiên là khi mà xuất qua một số hải sản thì cũng nhập lại một số hải sản đó, thì những cái loại nhập lại thì lại không có thuế. Tức là xuất đi thì bị đánh thuế, mà đánh trở vô thì không, nhập trở vô thì các nước không có bị thuế gì cả. Những cái nghe ra rất là vô lý nhưng mà nó đang xảy ra như vậy. Thì ông Trump cho nói ngay là cái chuyện này hết sức là dễ dàng để giải quyết. Ông sẽ nói với lại châu Âu và Canada là họ sẽ phải giảm thuế hoặc là xóa cái thuế xuất khẩu này đi. Nếu không là ông sẽ đánh lại ngược lại những cái sản phẩm của họ. Ví dụ như đặc biệt ông nói ra là cái sản phẩm xe hơi của châu Âu nhập vào Hoa Kỳ rất là nhiều. Thì ông sẽ sẵn sàng đánh lại bằng cái con số thuế đó hoặc là cao hơn để giải quyết ngay. Nói chung với cái vụ mà ông Trump ký cái sắc lệnh này, với lại tới thăm một số nơi ở tiểu bang Maine, vừa rồi thì chúng ta thấy thăm cái ngư trường, cái nền công nghiệp đánh cá thì ông đã giải quyết được ngay cái vấn đề đối với họ từ nhiều năm nay bị tồn tại như vậy. Lát nữa đây thì ông sẽ tới thăm một cái nhà máy sản xuất các loại mà để xét nghiệm COVID đó, là cái loại mà bằng cái giống như cái bông gòn đó. Cái nơi này thì sản xuất khoảng cỡ chừng 40 triệu cái bộ đó trong mỗi tháng. Chắc chắn là sẽ có thêm những cái đi tới đâu thì ông sẽ giải quyết những cái vấn đề mang tính quy định vô lý đó, những cái ràng buộc hành chính quy định vô lý để mà nó cho người ta làm việc. Ông đã đánh giá về cái vấn đề việc làm. Sáng nay trước khi đi thì ông cũng đã có một cái bài diễn văn, bài họp báo nói chuyện ở Nhà Trắng, và với cái bài đó thì rõ ràng cả thị trường chứng khoán tăng một cách khủng khiếp sáng nay. Tuy nhiên như vậy cũng rất là trớ trêu là ông đi tới chỗ Maine thì hồi nãy khi vừa tới thì đã có một cái sự dàn chào của đông người, từ đông người để mà gọi là phản đối biểu tình ông ấy. Thì lúc mà vào đầu buổi họp ngày hôm nay, ông cũng nhắc tới một cái đám đông như vậy, những người phản đối. Dĩ nhiên là cũng sẽ có những người phản đối ở trong tiểu bang Maine, mặc dù là ông tới giải quyết nhiều vấn đề cho họ, nhưng mà phản đối thì cứ vẫn phản đối thôi. Rồi có thể là những người từ những tiểu bang khác kéo tới để mà cùng nhập vô để mà phản đối. Ngoài ra cũng nhắc đến cái ông cũng những người của chính trong cái bàn họp hồi nãy nhắc tới cái việc là bà thống đốc của tiểu bang Maine không có chịu mở cửa, giờ này cũng chưa chịu mở cửa để mà làm ăn, mặc dù là tiểu bang Maine rất là ít người, hình như là 1,3 triệu. Thì không chịu mở cửa cho nên là nhiều người không có chưa đi làm việc được. Thay vì mở cửa thì bà ấy cho tiền mỗi người thất nghiệp $600. Rồi ngay cả khi mà cái người thất nghiệp đó đi làm trở lại cũng vẫn tiếp tục được nhận. Đó là một cái sự bất cập vô lý. Thì đó là một số những cái điểm mà ghi nhận trong ngày hôm nay về cái vấn đề đó. Xem nào. Rồi như vậy thì tôi nghĩ cũng đủ. Thị trường chứng khoán thì hồi nãy ông có nhắc tới cái S&P 500 á, là hiện nay là ở cái con số là trên 3.100 điểm, là cụ thể là 3.194 điểm. Còn Dow Jones là 27.000 trên 27.000 điểm. Lúc thời kỳ nó cực thịnh trước đại dịch thì nó là 29 ngàn mấy, gần 30.000. Thì cái lúc mà đại dịch vào những lúc mà xuống thấp nhất thì dường như là xuống tới 20.000 hoặc là dưới 20.000. Bây giờ là trở lại là 27.000 rồi, coi như là trở lại gần tới cái điểm xuất phát trước đại dịch rồi. Mặc dù là cho tới nay cái vấn đề đại dịch thì vẫn còn được cho rằng là còn lây nhiều, con số chết vẫn còn cao. Con số chết thì thấp xuống. Số thất nghiệp, chỉ số thất nghiệp đã giảm nhiều. Sau khi mở cửa lại thì chỉ số thất nghiệp giảm nhiều. Như vậy là chúng ta sẽ tiếp tục xem coi ngày hôm nay ông còn những cái hoạt động gì ở tiểu bang Maine trước khi quay trở lại Nhà Trắng. Thôi xin chào mọi người. Chào bạn Sài Gòn 360. Con đường Tân Tòng, con đường Tân Dự, Tòng Việt Nam, USA. Huy Nguyễn Đức, James Bond, Câu Châu, Tân Mai Linh Huệ, Trung Thủy Bao, Huy Nguyên Đức, Yên Nguyễn, Hùng Hải, vân vân. Xin chào mọi người nhé, và chúng ta sẽ gặp lại trong những cái bản tin kế tiếp. Xin chào mọi người.